fundamentally, Nigel Farage isn't standing at this election in Holyrood. And who is the reform persona that's going to be leading the charge? Without that, that's a problem for them. That would be the one counter to the rise of the populist challenge, because they don't have a figurehead. Secondly, on the original question on who would you consider voting for, I don't like it, actually. I don't like it. It's not to say it's not interesting, the findings, but to kind of oppose what Andy says to a slight degree. If you're in a constituency, remember, a constituency contest where the Greens have no chance of winning, for example, yes, many people might consider voting for them, but the voters know, they're intelligent by and large. They understand what's going on in their own locality. They then say, well, I'm not going to waste my vote on the Greens in the constituency level. I'll transfer it elsewhere. It might go to the SNP. So I think that counters what Andy's saying. And I much prefer seeing headline voting intentions. I want to know how people are going to vote or intend to vote. And then you directly compare across a long trend. It's not to say that it isn't interesting for the reasons that Andy outlines. I just don't like that as a yardstick, frankly.
But there'll be a bit, don't you think though, Jeff, that strategists of all the parties will look at this and they'll say, okay, there's if there's that percentage of people. So if you're an SNP strategist and you're saying, right, there's 63% of the population who will not even consider voting for us, that's a bit of a concern. It's a much higher number than we've seen in the past.
For those reasons, I think it is interesting. But you know as well as I do, when you get into the heat of the battle in an election contest, we see all the leaflets. Only the SNP can win here. Only Labour can defeat the SNP. That's the framing of the contest as you get closer to polling day. It always is. And you'll see people that are swithering voters lend their vote to their to the option that they think they would more prefer. Let's put it that way. If they don't actually support them, then they more prefer. It happens time and time again in politics, and that's why I'm not particularly a fan of that question. Because I don't give us a true indication of what's going to happen in constituencies around the country. But for the reasons you outline, yes, of course that would be concerning. Because I bet if you asked that question 10 years ago, the SNP ceiling would have been much, much higher, of course.